living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it. Do it better than anybody you ever seen do it. Scream from the haters, got a nice ring to it. I guess every superhero need his theme music. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power.
Fearless in war, ruthless with her opponents, it cannot be anticipated that Tsarina Catherine the Great would transform the image of Imperial Russia and firmly establish her Tsardom as a prestigious European power. In an era of international rivalries, conflicts, dynastic matchmaking, the conduct of foreign policy ranked first among a sovereign's concerns. During her reign, Catherine extended the borders of the Russian Empire. Through war, Catherine increased Russian power greatly as she became a dominant power in Europe after her first Russo-Turkish war against the Ottoman Empire, which saw some of the heaviest defeats in Turkish history. The Ottomans restarted hostilities in the Second Russo-Turkish War. This war ended catastrophically for the Ottomans. Even when the Russians were interrupted by Sweden in Catherine's Third War, the Russo-Swedish War from 1788 to 90, Catherine still came out victorious, changing the face of the world forever. One power which had not been involved in the 7 Years' War, and which indeed had enjoyed some 20 years of undisturbed peace, was the Ottoman Empire. Confident that recent military successes had restored the empire's fortunes, and that nothing further needed to be done in the way of reform or modernization. But it was now quite clear to the Ottomans that far from being withdrawn, more and more Russian troops were arriving in Poland, many of them operating close to the Ottoman border and threatening Ottoman security.
Potemkin! Potemkin! Catherine, the time is nigh for our men to advance from Poland to Abdul's frontier and resume the military preeminence abandoned after Peter the Great.
Catherine, I worry for your ambitious mind. Can we be sure yet that our men are ready for combat? We must remember that the great Peter himself was unsuccessful in his Crimean campaign, and the Russian Empire cannot be humiliated once again by Ottomans.
This war will win Russia a name for herself. They will see that she lacks no resources, and that those she has are by no means exhausted, and that she can defend herself and wage a war with ease and vigour when she is unjustly attacked.
My dear Catherine, you know how your initiatives unsettle my fragile nerves, but I'm bound to your every will, and I wouldn't deny you the promise of every Turk's left eye if you should ask it. It is done, my love. Constantinople will know of our men's movement on the morrow. Oh, Catherine!
In October 1768, the Sultan issued an ultimatum demanding immediate Russian withdrawal from Poland.
What is this outrage? Does this Russian strumpet dare insult the Sultan so? I see diplomatic courtesy. This is not custom recognized by the East. I will not have those dirty infidels plague the holy soil of our sultanates. Catherine will withdraw. Else her men shall suffer a bitter massacre, like she's never seen before, at the hands of God's true army.
When the Russian envoy rejected these demands, he was immediately imprisoned.
She thinks I'll give her little lover time to prepare his army? Send my demands to the ambassador of Constantinople for Russia to restore the Crimea to the Sultan. If Bulgakov refuses, do not hesitate to arrest him and lock him up in the castle of the Seven Towers.
Ignorant Turks! I hardly think I deserve such treatment when I gave him no reason for him to suppose that I intend to threaten his empire. What need was there for such an irrational response when my men's advances could not possibly warrant an ultimatum of this sort?
Yes, Catherine. Supposing the Sultan had presented himself at Orchakov, surrounded by dignitaries and accompanied by a powerful ally, with an enormous fleet and 150,000 men, would it be surprising you took precautionary measures?
Sugur, old friend, you must thank good fortune that I happen to hold men who are able to defend their own opinions against figures of authority like myself with such high regard. Perhaps there is truth in what you say, but never will I apologise for prioritising the future of my beloved country above all else.
That, if you allow me to confess, Your Majesty, is why I hold you in such high regard.
I call on you, my brothers, to shed your blood in the holy name of God, to defend our empire against the poison that threatens to infect us.
War between the two countries had begun. The Russian army were rather better organized than their enemy, but in the end their army was outnumbered with only 200,000 troops compared to the Ottoman Empire's 400,000. Even with their early advantages, the Ottomans suffered a series of major defeats in the summer of 1770 along the border with the Ukraine, in the Danube Valley and in the Crimea. The Russian and Ottoman fleets chased each other around the Aegean. Like a memory from the past, once again the Ottoman admiral was outmaneuvered, and at night the Russians sent in fireboats. The entire Ottoman fleet was destroyed, with a loss of 11,000 men. The most important Russian success was the occupation of the Crimea during the summer. Despite Russia's victory, neither Austria nor Prussia was prepared to see Russia make large unilateral gains at the expense of the Ottoman Empire.
The Russo-Turkish War of 1787 to 1792 involved a futile attempt by the Ottoman Empire to regain lands lost to Russia in the course of the previous Russo-Turkish War. In 1786, Catherine II of Russia made a triumphal procession through the annexed Crimea in company with her ally, Holy Roman Emperor Joseph II, a very suave and chic ruler. These events of grandeur and celestial magnificence led to friction caused by the clear infringement of the Treaty of the Kolchak-Karinji, which had closed the previous Russo-Turkish War. This stirred up public opinion in Constantinople, while the British and French ambassadors lent their unconditional support to the Ottoman war party. In 1788, war was declared, and the Russian ambassador to the Ottomans, Yakov Bulgakov, was thrown into prison. But Ottoman preparations were inadequate, and the moment was ill-chosen now that Russia and Austria were in alliance. The Ottomans drove back the Austrians from Mahdia, overran the Banat, but in the Moldava and Field Marshal Rumyantsev captured Isa and Kotkin. After a long winter siege, the Okhachov fell to Prince Potemkin. This news affected the Ottoman Sultan so deeply, it caused his death. Thus, following the Treaty of Jassy was signed with Russia on the 9th of January 1792, recognising Russia's 1783 annexation of the Crimea. The provinces of Yenisei, Hasibe and Ozi was also ceded to Russia, and the Turla was made the frontier in Europe, but the Asiatic frontier, the Kuban River, remained unchanged. The Ottoman generals were entirely incompetent, and the army mutinous. Expeditions for the relief of Bender and Akerman failed. Belgrade was taken by Loudon and Austria. The supposedly impenetrable forces of Izmail were captured by the Suvorov with surprise attacks using combined infantry and artillery. Yukashov shattered the Ottoman fleet to Fidenisi, Tendra, the Kerch Straits, and completed the series of Ottoman disasters. The young Sultan Selim III was anxious to restore his country's prestige by a victory before making peace. But the condition of his troops made this hope undeniably non-conceivable. Catherine had beat the Ottomans and left the army in disarray. Sultan Selim had been broken.
The system broken, the schools closed, the prisons open.